Every single metric and every single summary that we come up with has a 95% confidence bound around it. A lot of people really want to know, does this model have 95% confidence? And unfortunately, it's a lot more complicated than just a yes or no question. Just like how we talked about how accuracy can sometimes be misleading, and you never want to have that be the only metric that you're looking at to describe a model. You really can't find one single calculation that's going to state the totality of the model and say that this model has 95% confidence. Instead, every single metric and every single summary that we come up with has a 95% confidence bound around it. So let's actually go back to that example of the recall that we were estimating. So if we go back to this example, you can see that there's this distribution and it has a mean that's around, 0.8, maybe 0.78, but it has an entire distribution around that. And what we can do is draw confidence intervals around that where 95% of those bootstrapped examples fall into those lines. And so that's what these red dotted lines are here. It's showing that 95% of the experiments that we ran fell in between these bounds. And so what you can say, given this data, is that we are 95% confident that you would expect to see a recall value no less than 58% and no more than, say, 96%. And so depending on the data, these distributions can look wider or narrower. And so, for instance, this yellow wider distribution here we can say with 95% confidence that this data has a recall of maybe 62%. But for this narrower distribution here in green, we can say with 95% confidence that the recall is no less than 70%. So these two distributions of recall, they're the same average, they're the same summary recall metric, but they have different variances that mean that you can state different things with 95% confidence. And so we calculate these 95% confidence intervals around all of the metrics that we've talked about. We calculate it around the estimated total number of service lines in an inventory and even around individual service line predictions.